Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Zach D Productions here, and I'm here for my first video of 2022. So for this video, I just want to go over a few things. I first want to go over some potential plans and ideas that I have for this channel. I guess some New Year's resolutions, you could say. I don't have many, but I figured that they would be mentioning for this video, and then I want to go over I guess some more personal stuff and mental health stuff, which I know is not really something that I open up about that much on the channel. I mean, sometimes I do in the live streams, but not really in my regular video content. So I figured it was something that would be worth talking about for my first video of 2022. But the first thing I do want to talk about is the potential ideas and, of course, the plans that I have for this year for this channel. Now, you guys know that I do have a new series coming out later this month. I plan to release it later this month of January, Italian Sniper Rebirth, which is, of course, the reboot of the original debut series, Italian Sniper. And I'm definitely looking forward to be releasing this series because I truly do believe that this is one of my best, if not maybe even my best series that I have ever done. I mean, when it comes to I guess the comparisons with this series and other series that I've done, I mean, I feel like that this series is definitely a major step up from anything that I've ever done before. And there's going to be a lot of surprises to this series, I think, and I think it will surprise many people. You'll see many different characters that might be surprising, and of course some of the roles of this series and some of the guest appearances that I have involved. When it comes to the series itself, it is just about done. I just need to finish up a few things, and I also just need to wait on my buddy Azar White Music to send me the music tracks for the soundtrack. But as far as guest appearances are concerned, I mean, you'll see my friend Andrew Bebe in this series. He actually plays a pretty major role in this series. One of the main characters, you could say. I won't spoil that much, so you guys will just have to wait and see when the full series comes out, of course. But that's something that is exciting, and I'm glad to have Andrew heavily involved in this series. And also my friend MJ Nation played his part for this series. Now, you don't actually see him in this series. It is just dialogue. For those of you who might be excited when I say that, hey, MJ Nation's going to be in this series, before you get your hopes up, in case you do follow MJ's channel, no, he does not play a major role in this series. I just wanted to point that out before, maybe some of his followers got their hopes up, of course. But of course, maybe he could play a major role in a future series or whatever. And speaking of that, I actually do have ideas for the future series, the series to come out after Italian Sniper Rebirth. I even have a title and a storyline in mind, but of course I won't go into that. I will talk more about that when I feel the time is right, of course. But Italian Sniper Rebirth is something that I am more so focused on right now. I'm just focusing on, getting things ready to release that series, of course. And as far as other plans are concerned, I would maybe like to do collabs more. I mean, collabs is something that I started doing maybe a few years or so ago. So yeah, not something that I've been doing until recently. I know I've done collabs with Jamie Horsley, the Strong Boys 19, and I also did that interview thing with Andrew Bebe. So yeah, I mean, more collabs would be fun to do, and I'd be interested in collabing with those same people that I've mentioned. But I would like to collab with some different people as well. Maybe even a collab with Quest for Metal. That's something that me and him briefly talked about. We discussed the possibility of maybe that happening. But I make no promises, of course. So yeah, collabs is something that I may want to do more on this channel this year, but we'll have to see. And one of the reasons I don't usually do New Year's resolutions, especially for this channel, is you just never know what's to come. And you could say that just in general. And that's why I usually don't do New Year's resolutions is, life can be unpredictable sometimes. You just don't know what there is to come, of course. But either way, collabs is something that I would like to do this year. Now, as far as the other topic I do want to talk about, the more personal stuff when it comes to mental health and, some reflections of last year or so, this is something that I do briefly want to talk about. Now, I know I've mentioned before that last year was not exactly a great year for me, and I'm of course talking about 2021. I mean, needless to say, I think it's one of the worst years, at least for me personally. Now, sure, that does have a lot to do with the fact that, well, obviously, the world was not the same place it was a few years ago. I mean, obviously 2020, things are a bit different now, unfortunately. But I do hope that 2022 is a step in the right direction, and, it makes me mad because, I have certain people, certain individuals who I've been friends with for years, and I'm friends with even on Facebook, who, make these kind of claims. Oh, well, it's only a bad year if you make it, it's what you make of it or whatever. It's been great for me or whatever. Well, I guess I'm just not as I'm not in the same shoes as that individual, of course, and, not everyone can say the same. Not everyone can agree that 2021 was a great year. It sure wasn't for me, And there's just some things that are outside of my control, and I think, there's some people like that individual that I just mentioned need to realize, So before, some people might make that claim, oh, it's only a bad year if you make it, just stop, okay? Just stop. Once again, there's some things that are outside of our control. I mean, do you think I have any control of, this thing that we've been facing for the last few years? I mean, if I could, I'd Thanos snap it away if I could, but I unfortunately can't, okay? So just stop with it, okay? I think most people can agree that the last few years have not been that great. Now, sure, that might depend on who you ask, but either way, that's just my take on it, honestly. But it's also been bad for me for a few other reasons. And I think it mainly has to do with the fact that I guess I'm just not really where I want to be. And, it does seem like my life personally has not been going anywhere. I just think about where I was, over a decade ago and how I pictured my life would be like today. I mean, to sum it all up, my life today and the way it is now is nothing how I pictured it years ago. And I think that's why I've been kind of down, I guess, because it's not really anything that I expected. It's different, but yet the same, if that makes sense. Like, I still kind of feel the same way as I did to a certain degree years ago. Now, sure, when I was a teenager, I was a lot more insecure then. That's not really, the insecurity factor is not really something that plays its role that much these days. I mean, I'm definitely a lot more confident than I was then as a teenager, but the mental health issues still do remain. That part really does still remain. And it really has been a struggle. It really has, because, just seeing, a lot of, I guess, my peers and a lot of people my age or close to my age for that matter, kind of just see them get their life together, kind of, because I just think about it and I see like all the stuff that, me and some friends, like, we used to go through. I mean, we used to go through those things together. We also, like, other people I knew had mental health issues, and then to see them to this day, kind of achieve those things, get the successful needs that they've been craving, I guess, for years, but I still don't have that. I'm kind of still in the same place I was years ago, and that's something that does have me a little discouraged, because once again, it does seem like a lot of people are definitely a lot more successful than I am, you know? And, you know, there's, of course, things that I would like to achieve in life. I mean, you guys know that I do want to be a filmmaker one day, a very successful filmmaker. I would like to run my own film business one day. And I was hoping that I would achieve that. And, you know, I think that's something else too. The fact that I had my expectations through the roof for my life. And, you know, late last year, it had me wondering if I was ever going to have a career in that. And that's something that really had me down real bad. It's really something that's had an effect on me because, you know, it's nothing like how I wanted it to be, you know, and seeing as other people and how other people are able to achieve certain things like that. And even when it comes to the idea of relationships as well, you know, because it really is also discouraging for me to see a lot of people that I've known for years, you know, be married, you know, within the last year or so, because I don't even know if I'm close to that part of my life yet. Now, yes, I do have a girlfriend, for those who don't know. She lives in the Philippines, a long-distance relationship of, you know, a few years at this point. So that's something else, too, that's been kind of hard for me. But that's not something that I'll go into, you know, just kind of seeing as though, you know, people succeed in certain things like that. And also, you know, seeing them, you know, maybe even get the careers that they want, you know, because like I said, you know, I just, you know, as far as, you know, the careers that I want, you know, like I just know that I want something that has to do with film. All right. So that's something that I'm kind of like, is that really anything that I'm going to be able to achieve in life? But once again, man, I just really hope 2022 is a step in the right direction for me. Hopefully we can pick up where we left off, you know, from a few years ago, because once again, the last couple of years have not been good. I do want to end it with this. I do want to say that I do want to try to be more positive and I guess be more ambitious, you know, when it comes to my goals and, you know, when it comes to achieving things. So I just wanted to point that out as well, you know, because I just don't want to complain, you know what I'm saying? So I do want to try to change that as well, and maybe even get some help with stuff. I don't know. Like I said, life is unpredictable, so we'll just have to see what comes. So that's kind of all I wanted to discuss for this update video for my first video of 2022. So let me know what you guys think. How was 2021 for you personally, and do you have any high hopes for this year? And are you guys looking forward to my brand new series? Feel free to let me know. So with that being said, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and take care.